Imagine this. You're talking to someone and you say something and all of a sudden you notice the conversation changes. Sometimes we can really worry about the mistakes we make during conversation. So what are they and do they really matter? Here are 2 of the most common conversation mistakes that I've made before, why we do them and ways to fix them, as well as something that not many people talk about that could be ruining your conversations.
Oh Lord, it's good to be here with you, Mr. O'Brien.
Let me make an important note here. There is no such thing as a perfect conversation. We all make mistakes, and the degree to which a mistake is a mistake depends on the person. It is subjective. Some people prefer different ways of communicating, so don't stress about it. That's alright. We're all in this together. And this is where we get into the realm of there are so many mistakes that you can make, and I wouldn't listen to videos or read crap online that lists 10 or 15 different mistakes that you can be making in conversation, because that's going to make conversation unfun. Conversation should be easy and fun. It shouldn't feel like a game of checkers or chess. And for that reason, this might be the only video I make on the topic. I don't know. Let me know down below. Talking to someone and it being difficult and having to think so much about the right thing to say, it makes it easier to avoid conversation. I learned that a lot of conversation mistakes just come from the attitude that you have. If you don't like yourself, or if you don't like people, or if you're insecure, it is almost certainly going to make it much harder to have a good conversation with someone, to avoid making these kinds of mistakes, because they stem from attitude. So think about these as less conversation mistakes and more just your approach to conversation, to socializing, your core beliefs, your self-beliefs, and your beliefs about the world. The next time you make one, it's no big deal. Laugh it off. Learn from it. So it's nighttime. It's cold, but we're around a campfire, so I can feel it like crackling at my hands and all that when my hands are out there. There's about 5 or 6 people there. Most of them are on the other side of the campfire. I'm relaxed. I could almost fall asleep, you know. I'm getting a bit tired. It's like 11 p.m, 12 a.m. It's almost the morning of the next day. Someone says something that really, it really doesn't feel great to hear that. And it goes a little bit like this. We're talking about our pets. We go from fish to cats to dogs. We're talking about our dogs and we're talking about lost pets. And one person said that they used to have a dog that kept running away. We all kind of feel empathy in the group at the same time. You know, we all share that. This person says, my dog kept running away, come home, and we got really confused because he was gone. And then eventually we kept learning it's the fence. But now we have him so he can't jump over the fence because he used to jump over the fence. This person just turns to him and says, oh yeah? Well, my dog died. I think everyone went quiet for about a minute. So why am I telling you this? That is the effect it can have on people. That is the effect of one-upping other people, or one-upmanship. It can make us feel uncomfortable because we don't know how to respond to that. It almost invalidates our experiences, the things that we share and we talk about. This could come from a lot of things, but for me, it came from a competitive attitude. And I used to make this mistake a lot. Sorry. You might know this from a very relatable experience, the sleeplessness competition. Have you ever been in a discussion with someone, or you've overheard a discussion, and for some reason, being more sleep deprived is cool? So one person would say, oh man, I only got 4 hours of sleep last night. That sucks, right? Another person jumps in, well, I got 2 hours of sleep last night. That really builds on the conversation, doesn't it? It doesn't. Conversation is not a competition. It's not something that we can win or lose. When we try to win, we try to maintain our ego, and the ego is our idea of ourselves. So for example, if I think that I am strong, or I want to be strong, I want to be hardworking and conscientious, if someone tells me that they haven't slept much, I need to tell them that I slept less. So that proves to them that I am stronger. It proves to me that I am strong. But it doesn't. One of the biggest things I did for myself when I was doing this mistake was just learning to be okay with almost losing conversation, being okay with not achieving any goal. And after I try to just enjoy it and try to learn instead, conversation got a lot more fun, because one-upmanship is not very fun. It's boring, it's mentally taxing, it's draining. And here's an important note to make. Sometimes we do this because we're not sure how to respond. And that's a totally valid argument to this. Maybe we think this is the only way to share or open up. God, it's getting bright. Oh my, the sun is right there. So try this. Let's go back to the dog example. So my dog kept running away. How do you respond to that? Well, I didn't know until I started listening. Try to gauge that. Try to expand what they're talking about before even relating to them. This helped me understand how conversation works so much more. So my dog ran away. You can respond reflectively, your dog ran away. You could expand on that. When was this? Did you find your dog? What was your dog name? That must be frustrating. If you want to learn more about listening and conversation as a whole, I have a couple links in the top of the comment section below. Check them out. Why not? So my friend's talking to me, we'll call him K. He's talking to me about this new game that's about to come out on the Switch. And I'm a bit cynical. I'm not a big fan of it, and I keep downplaying it. I tell him again and again, he's saying, oh, I'm so excited for this game, it's going to come out next month, I'm going to buy it straight away. And I go, oh, okay. What if it sucks? The last game sucked. The last game you bought sucked. Or I've heard reviews about it and it doesn't look too good. He kind of drifts off from that topic, and then he looks back at me and he goes, what about this game that's coming out? And I do the same thing. I'm feeling a bit cynical in that moment, a bit pessimistic, and I feel smart doing it. I feel cool doing it. I'm telling him, actually, I heard that this thing secretly sucks. And now I sound really smart and intelligent. I can already tell that I've murdered this conversation in cold blood. I can see it slowly start to drive off the edge. And the whole time it felt boring. It was mentally draining for me to act that way, but I couldn't tell why. I feel comfortable being this negative self, but it feels boring. So conversation is a lot about vibe and emotion. When we're talking to someone and we're enjoying it, the vibes are high. When the vibes are positive and humorous, we're having a fun conversation. We're joking around. We're saying yes ands to each other. When the vibes are thought-provoking and interesting, we're having a very deep conversation about the world and politics and our emotions. But when they're tense, when they're gloomy, when they're negative, that's a boring conversation. That conversation is going nowhere. You might know someone who is negative all the time, and whenever you want to share something with them, you might hesitate. Why share with them if they're just going to stomp on it, right? You can't have fun with someone who never has fun. I was making the vibe here tense, boring, very walled off. I was brick walling all of the energy that was going to come up, and we were going to talk about this great game together and share this emotion. And this person, me, just stonewalled it and went, no, I was needlessly being negative. Sometimes we might think it makes for good conversation. Sometimes we like to talk about the negative aspects of something, but although it can make for valid conversation, consistently it can be boring. And I can definitely tell the more positive I've become in my life and the way I look at things, the more approachable I've become. Conversations are so much fun now with my friends when we're hyping something up, when we're getting excited for something, when we're being optimistic rather than negative and cynical. What I did was I practiced being more positive. Of course, practice being not the bad thing. I started challenging my negative thoughts more often. I started asking myself, okay, I feel this way. Yes, of course, but why? Where does that feeling come from? What would happen if I was positive instead? How would that make me feel? What would that do for the conversation? What would that do for the other person? Would that make them feel happier, more connected with me? Would it feel gross to be more positive, and why? That's a good question. I want you to pause the video, not now, but once I've finished this sentence, I want you to pause this video and then think of 3 things in your life, tiny little things that you're grateful for. What are 3 tiny little things in your life that you're grateful for? Just think of them. You can even write them down if you want. Now that's called gratitude journaling, and it's a pretty popular practice in the kind of mental health space because it is effective. It trains your brain to think more positively. And once you start to think more positively, life looks better. Not just conversations, but life goes up. What I want you to take away from this video is that don't stress. Socializing is not a competition. Intent matters. Speak to connect, to share experiences, to discover each other, not to prove to others that you are what you want to be. Hi, it's me with a really low quality microphone. If you want to learn how to listen really well, I have a video for that here. And if you want to try something else, I have a video here for that as well. Hey, by the way, if this video helped you, I built a social workshop that you can check out in the description below. In it, I help you become more confident, better at conversations and listening and connecting with others without being someone that you're not, while also having a positive impact on those that you love. Otherwise, that's it. Thanks for watching and catch you later.